Next we have the MCQ, which says, which row shows the processes involved when nitrate ions and water, from soil, enter a root hair cell? If we think through this, nitrate ions are mineral ions, and they are absorbed into the root hair cell against the concentration gradient, so they require active transport. On the other hand, water moves into the root hair cell by osmosis, because water moves down its water potential gradient. So, out of all the options, option A is correct. Because nitrate ions enter by active transport, and water enters by osmosis. That's the correct combination. Then we have the next MCQ, which says, which change in conditions will decrease the rate of transpiration? So the correct answer is A, a decrease in air currents around the leaf. Less air movement means water vapor accumulates near the leaf surface, reducing the concentration gradient, so less transpiration happens. Then we have next question, which says, which description of the function of root hairs is correct? So the answer is D. Root hairs absorb ions by active transport, but water specifically enters by osmosis, so option D is the accurate description of water uptake. And then we have, which conditions result in the highest rate of transpiration from a plant? Now, we know transpiration is fastest when the air is warm and dry. Low humidity means there's a steep water vapor gradient, and higher temperature speeds up evaporation. So the answer is B. Transpiration rate is greatest when humidity is lower and temperature is higher, so option B gives the highest rate. Next, we have, which row shows why plants need magnesium ions and nitrate ions? And, out of all the options, option D is the correct answer. Magnesium is needed to make chlorophyll, while nitrate ions are required to make amino acids, which then build proteins. Then we have another multiple choice question. Root hairs take in water and ions from the soil. Which table shows the correct concentrations of water and ions in the root hair? And, out of all these options, the correct answer is A. Water enters by osmosis, so the concentration of water in the root hair must be lower than in the soil. Ions enter by active transport, so their concentration is higher inside the root hair than in the soil. Then, coming back to a theory question. The question says, grapes are fruits that grow on a plant called a grapevine. A farmer grows a variety of grapevine called the sultana. The grapes produced are sold to be eaten fresh or used to make dried fruit called sultanas. Part A says, 100 grams of fresh grapes produced by the vine contains 15.5 grams of sugars. And the question asks, describe and explain how the plant produces sugars and transports sugars to the fruit. And, the correct answer is, the plant produces sugars by photosynthesis in the leaves. Light is absorbed by chlorophyll in the chloroplasts, and during this process, water from the soil and carbon dioxide from the air combine to form glucose and oxygen. Some of the glucose is then converted into sucrose for transport. The sucrose is carried through the phloem by a process called translocation, and finally delivered to the grapes, where it is stored as sugars in the fruit. Then, we have a diagram that shows some cells from the lower part of a transpiring leaf. We can see the lower epidermis. Part 1 says, identify cell type B. So, we know that cell type B is the spongy mesophyll. Part 2 says, water travels from A to D. The arrows on the diagram represent the movement of water molecules during transpiration. With reference to these arrows, name and define each process taking place. And the answer is, arrow 1 shows, osmosis. This is the movement of water molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration across a partially permeable membrane. Arrow 2 shows, evaporation. This is the change of water from liquid state into water vapor, or gas. Arrow 3 shows, diffusion. This is the net movement of molecules from a region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration, down a concentration gradient. And then part B says, leaves from different plant species transpire at different rates in the same environmental conditions. Suggest and explain structural differences in the lower surface of these leaves which might produce differences in the transpiration rate. The answer is, leaves with a greater surface area or with more stomata lose more water. A thicker cuticle reduces water loss. Features such as sunken stomata, curled leaves, ridges, or hairs trap moist air, which increases humidity and lowers the rate of transpiration.